Hello, Seiiti Arata. Do you know someone who is at a more advanced stage of life in their 40s or 50s, but they keep working harder and harder to accumulate more money? Do you see how such a person is sacrificing other areas of life to increase their wealth? Here is a special chat for those of you who are already well settled financially, but you still work hard to accumulate more money. Does this kind of attitude make sense? Or do these people simply keep working out of inertia because that is what they've been doing all their lives? Even if you're still young and if you haven't accumulated wealth, now the question is, what do you think about doing in the future? Imagine being older with a good sum of money. Will you know how to enjoy it, or will you keep wanting to have more and more? The power of money is so strong that it often causes an imbalance with other areas of our lives. We forget that we won't keep a penny with us when we die, which makes us want to accumulate more and more. The problem is that this mindset causes bad decisions. We stop taking care of our own health. We spend less time with our friends and family. We don't even pause to contemplate and enjoy what we have already achieved. And the value of money is different according to your age. Imagine this: if you give $1,000 to a 99-year-old grandma who's already financially secure, she doesn't have any debt, what do you think she will do? Is she going to invest that money in a long-term investment fund? Will she take the first available flight to go around and travel? Or is she going to buy stocks to generate some dividends? Hardly. This 99-year-old lady is going to probably give all the money as a gift to some lucky grandson. See, she's already in the final stage of her life. She's already has all the financial security she needs. $1,000 more doesn't make any difference to her. She doesn't need or want to buy any luxury brand shoes or take a plane trip. She just wants to stay quietly at home and avoid climbing stairs. At a certain point in our lives, there is a decline in our ability and our interest to use money to invest, to have experiences, or even buy material goods. On the other hand, if you give that same amount of money to some 19-year-old nephew, he'll probably have an unforgettable time with a gift of $1,000. That 19-year-old nephew can take a trip alone, can gain life-defining experiences, or he can just buy something that he really, really wants. Almost none of this would be possible or even make sense to your 99-year-old grandma. The value of money is different depending on your age. Now, it sounds logical when we put it this way, but in practice, many people don't seem to realize how the value of money changes with age. Just look at how many executives of large corporations are there, even with millions in their bank accounts, but they continue to work to death while putting aside other areas of life, such as health and family and leisure. This is the kind of imbalance that you don't want, and therefore your life planning must take into account the change in values according to the context. If you already have too much money, you can rearrange your priorities to focus on other areas of life. Now let's think about James, who is 50 years old. James has been working since he was 16. He holds the position of a vice president at a multinational corporation, and he already has accumulated a few millions in his bank account. Now, if you think about James' life expectancy, he probably has another 30 years of life ahead of him, but he knows that at the end of these 30 years, he will not have the same health and energy that he has today. So in this scenario, James has two options. He can keep working at the same pace that he has always worked to make even more money and build an even brighter career, or he can just slow down and start focusing on other things. Spend quality time with family, explore nature, learn a new skill, move to a country home, and fulfill the dream of living far from the city, or take the trip around the world and have new experiences. James could do any of these things, anything that he feels like doing and doesn't already do because work doesn't let him. You might think that James keeps working because he likes it. but people often sink into work as a kind of escape. Maybe he doesn't even know how to do anything else. Maybe he's afraid to spend free time with friends and family. Maybe he's so attached to his job that he doesn't even realize it won't last forever. Older people who have already built wealth often need to understand that it is necessary to slow down, to focus on other important areas of life. A professional career is important, but it should not be the only dimension of life. For those who have already done the training, planning your life, this was very clear because we have these interactive activities and they have an enormous importance for this type of organization. Slowing down doesn't mean necessarily abandoning work altogether. It is possible to continue working without letting your career take all your available energy and time. Those who are already at this stage of their career, they can act as a consultant, for example, doing some occasional work and dedicating the rest of their time to other things. If you leave an inheritance, the money will be of little value to your children if they are well educated. There is another argument that many people use to continue working hard, even at an advanced stage of life. It is leaving a good inheritance for their children. Now, this kind of thinking brings a number of problems. The first problem is factual. If you have already amassed a fortune, your children are probably doing pretty well. At least you were able to provide them all the material conditions for them to grow up, to study in a healthy environment and a highly intellectual level. They know the value of money, and therefore, probably, they want to be proud of generating their own wealth through their work. If you are a self made millionaire, you know how good it is to work and reap the rewards of your efforts. Imagine if you had received everything through inheritance instead. It would be much less interesting, don't you agree? Now, the second problem is mathematical. If you die at 90, how old do your children will be? 50, 60? By then, they will practically be retired already. They don't need your money. Maybe the money will go to your young grandchildren, but is it a positive experience for someone so young to effortlessly receive such a large sum of money? Now, the third problem is practical. If you leave a large inheritance that will have to be split between children and grandchildren, they may end up fighting when trying to share it. Money can end up creating disputes in the family, creating even more problems than solutions. And the fourth problem is tax. Many countries tax inheritances at rates that can reach up to half of the total amount. Now, see, if half of everything that you've worked so hard for your entire life is going to go to the government, wouldn't you rather enjoy it and at least use some of that money while you have some time, some energy, some health? Now, the conclusion is logical. Leaving a large inheritance to one's children or grandchildren should not be a compelling reason for people to keep working until they die, even after they have already amassed a large sum of money. The best legacy that you can leave your children and grandchildren is education, affection, support, and presence. Those who have already managed to accumulate wealth and are already at an older age should focus more on the family than continue an endless quest to accumulate more and more money. It doesn't matter how much money you have, you will eventually die and you will not take anything with you. Money is very good. It is with money that we can guarantee quality of life in important areas such as health and housing, education, leisure, transportation, and so many others. But money only serves to guarantee our quality of life. In death, it is useless. I know that we don't like to be thinking too much about death, but the fact is that we are going to die. You will die, I will die. And when that happens, we won't take a penny from here. We don't know when death will come, but we're sure that it will. And when we're young, this uncertainty about the moment of death forces us to balance saving for the future with enjoying the present. But when the years pass and we have already managed to accumulate a certain amount of money that gives us financial security, it is time to take advantage of the time that we still have. Even if you believe that you will live to be 80 or 90 or 100 years old, You have to be realistic and admit that we have less energy and health at older ages. There are some experiences that we can have today, but we may not be able to enjoy or have at an older age. So if you are already at that stage, stop to reflect on whether you should continue this unbridled quest to accumulate more money. Try prioritizing other areas of your life while you still have time. And even if you're not there yet, start to include this type of reflection in your life planning. By doing this, you ensure a greater balance for your life. You won't waste the time that you have here with things that are not going to be of any use. Those who reach older ages with a solid net worth should reflect on whether it is a good idea to continue sacrificing other areas of life in search for even more money, or if it is better to reorder priorities and focus more, on health or family and experiences. Remember that we will not take anything from here with us when the time of death comes. Even the inheritance that we think we'll be leaving will be more important if we provide our children and grandchildren with education instead, and affection and attention, rather than simply money. To make these adjustments, you need to have a clear life plan with your most important personal values and all the experiences that you still intend to have. So, to create such a life plan, now I invite you to learn more about the Planning Your Life course. It is a special class that we have here on personal values, and to see that, you can go to the address arata.se/planning your life.